And I'm Dudley.
And this is Deaf and Dumb.
This is Deaf and Dumb. This is my part.
No,
you get to yell. I get to say Deaf and Dumb.
No, but we've been doing it like this for weeks.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have. Go back and listen.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we haven't.
We've been...
I don't listen to the show, so I have nothing to back this up.
I'm pretty sure that's how we've been doing the intro for at least the last 3 or 4 episodes.
You can't prove that.
Yes, I can. I can pull them up.
In a court of law, you cannot prove that.
Yeah, especially there I can.
No. Podcast is not evidence.
I think they have the capability of playing audio tracks.
No, they don't. They don't have the technology yet.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
You can think what you want.
You're
going to jail.
Is that yeah, okay? For what now?
Perjury.
Perjury.
I have you on record.
We're not in a court right now. So how can I be doing perjury? I don't think you understand how the legal system works.
I know exactly how the legal system works.
Uh-huh.
Everyone gets screwed. No one leaves happy. That's how it works.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. No one feels good about what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say something. Oh, you were doing this weird little dance during the intro.
Oh, yeah.
And
was I?
I had flashback to the, what's that guy? The Numa Numa song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that.
Oh,
it looked
man.
like that.
Like the early days of viral internet videos.
Yeah. That's one of the first ones up there.
One of the first ones I remember.
Yeah, it's quite there. If you're not familiar with it, which you should be because you're on the internet and you probably are.
It's really old. I mean, if you're a younger person, you may never have seen this. But go look it up.
Young people.
Yeah,
go look up Numa Numa. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's probably like 15 years old or something.
It's older than that, I think.
Well, I mean, we were in high school when it happened, so...
That was...
Like early high school, mid-high school for us.
Yeah, 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, we were in high school 10 years ago.
Back then, the height of the time was flash videos and stuff. You know, like the Badger song.
Yeah, Badger, mushroom. Yeah. Not an oldie, but a goodie.
Uh-huh.
Go check that out.
I don't know.
That's just complete nonsense.
I don't know what's up with the camera, but when you're talking, I can't see you. You're
okay.
Your face is cut off. Well,
because I have to lean into the mic.
Yeah, but
let me turn it a little bit.
Yeah, turn your camera. I want to see you when you're talking.
Right.
There we go.
All right, is that better?
It's a little better. It's chopping off your nose.
Okay.
You have a degree in this stuff like this.
Well, I'm not looking at myself while I'm doing this.
Uh-huh. There we go.
There's
There's that face. So I've been trying out all kinds of new things this week.
Yeah, I bet you have. Well, we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to talk about what I've been doing because that's where the listeners care.
Oh, okay. That's if you say so. You look at the numbers. I don't know.
No. Well, I brought new listeners to the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna. I have coworkers have discovered that I do a podcast.
Wait, are you? I'm sitting over here with a brand new Vive, and you want to talk about my coworkers are listening to the show now. You're just gratifying them for You're trying to reward them because they took you up on the offer to listen. So you're going to be like,
did not
thank you for listening directly.
In fact, I almost didn't tell them about it. One of my coworkers found out about it, and now everyone at work knows about it. Or it seems like everyone knows about it. Everyone talks to me about it.
So how did you weren't trying to bring it up, but how did it go? Was it like they're like, hey, how you doing this morning? You have a good drive in? Yeah. I do a podcast about video games once a week.
No, not exactly. I was working on Sunday last week, and I was like, I gotta go so I can record a podcast. So that's basically how it happened. And then they asked questions, and I gave answers. And now I have to be careful with what I say on the show.
Oh, okay. So to Dudley's coworkers, fuck you. You know who you are.
Yeah. They
Go fuck
know
yourself.
who they are. I don't know how many of them actually listen. I think one of them gave up after like 4 episodes.
That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah.
This isn't for them. I'm not
He
sure.
said
What kind of people
back.
it is for, but
we haven't found them yet.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay.
All right. So the games I've been playing.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. What have you been playing?
Human Resource Machine.
Yeah. You got your own copy?
Yes, I have been playing it for a while. I played
the Switch?
it last week on the Switch.
Yeah.
I've already talked about it a little bit on the show, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm almost finished it.
Yeah. You're further than I am, because I got stuck on that one puzzle because I didn't know about a mechanic that you explained to me.
Yeah.
And
that I just did and was like, yeah, this is how you do this, and it worked.
Yeah, I just didn't know. But you're stuck on a few. You were stuck on one for a while before.
Yeah,
I had.
I figured that one out though.
Yeah. But yeah, you liking it? It's fun. It's cool.
It's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm on the. I had the last one of the main line of puzzles.
Yeah.
They're like little offshoots. I've done all the main ones except the last one, and I have no idea how to do it. I sat there looking at it and thinking about it for 20 minutes. I didn't touch a single line of code in the game.
No, yeah.
And I was just sitting there going,
how do I do this?
Working it through in my brain, and then nothing I could come up with would work. So I was like, I'm going to come back to this one, and went back to some other ones. I was just like, I'm going to come back to these. So I have like 4 left. As soon as I finish with 4, then I've done all of them.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
But it's good. It's good gig.
Yeah.
I took a trip back in time for a little bit and played some relatively old games.
Yeah.
Not like NES old, like I was playing Destiny.
Yeah.
With Trey.
Yeah.
Our buddy Trey. Because he has a PS4, and so we've been playing PS4 games together. And
he has a PS4. I have a PS4, so we decided to play PS4 together.
Basically, that's exactly how it works. We were playing Farm Simulator together, and then we were like, what else can we play? And Destiny came up, so we were playing that.
Yeah, he likes that Destiny. I used to play it a bunch when he was back in the day when he was on PS3.
I think it's basically the same as when you played with him. I have no idea what's going on. I don't remember anything about the game. I just know I like the revolver hand cannons.
Yeah.
And so I just go around using it. And then I have no idea what's happening in the story, and I don't really care.
So you're gearing up for 2 then?
Yeah, no, probably not. Maybe, I don't know. If we get tired of this one, and Trey wants to do it, maybe. But then we also were talking about other games we could play, and he was like, "You have Rocket League." And I was like, I think I have Rocket League because it was free on PlayStation Plus 1 month, several months ago.
Yeah,
it's been
a while ago.
A while ago.
I think it was like last summer.
Yeah, and so I went and looked, and of course I had it. And he was like, "All right." He goes, "Another buddy of ours, Justin, he plays Rocket League a lot."
Oh, okay.
And so me, Trey, and Justin got our little team together.
Okay.
And we spent a good hour or 2 playing Rocket League.
All right.
And I forget how much fun that is.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing okay in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I make like 1 score in the course of an evening. And, but then I was like, oh, I'm going to hop in and play. I texted Trey like the other day and was like, hey, you want to play? And he was busy, so he didn't play. So I was just playing around by myself online. Did terrible. I was on a team. It was 0-7.
So you weren't carrying the team?
No. Apparently Justin just does all the work when we play. And I just had these like moments of like, oh, I actually kind of did something there, and that was enough to carry me through the game.
Yeah.
Apparently. But it's fun. It's fun.
It's a fun one. I like it.
And then I played a little bit of Mario Kart 8 with Robert.
No, yeah.
Rob. For
the
first time.
I saw you, because I was in Houston this weekend. I saw y'all. I came in when y'all were playing.
Yeah, for the first time, I actually set up the Switch on a table. and like had the little kickstand out and put it out there, and we both had our own controller and we played. That was the first time I've ever done it.
Yeah.
And
how did it
feel? It works pretty good.
Yeah.
It would be tiny if you were playing with more than 2 players.
Yeah, I imagine it.
And even then, it was pretty tiny.
Yeah, it's small. It's small for a split screen.
Yeah, it's really small. But it was fun. Robert beat me really badly.
Yeah. Yeah, he does that. That's why I stopped playing with him last weekend.
We did a Grand Prix. And,
the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we did the 100cc Grand Prix. And, yeah, it was fun. And that's about it. That's all I really played.
Okay.
So I guess we can wrap it up now and not talk about anything else.
Yeah, because I don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, you don't have anything to talk about, right?
No, nothing new at all.
Not a lot of news going on this week, so I guess we can just cut it.
Viva la Vive! So I got the Vive.
You got the Vive in.
I got the Vive. It's pretty amazing. I had to screw things into the wall to get it set up. I'm still not sure I set it up very well because I still have random little issues. But otherwise, it's amazing. I set it up. I've been playing it as much as I can, which has not been as much as I like. It hadn't been a lot of time.
You should spend every waking hour.
I could,
VR.
But I have a job.
Yeah, but that only takes up 8 hours of your day.
Well, I got it on Tuesday, right? And so I got home
sick on Wednesday.
I wanted to, I really wanted to, but I couldn't because I have vacations coming up, and I'm kind of scraping out all my time off for vacation and stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to. If I knew I had some extra hours, I would have taken off. But I didn't know I did. I wasn't sure if I did or not, so I didn't risk it. So I got it Tuesday night. Was when I got home from work, it was waiting on me. I unboxed it. I was jittery with excitement, and took out all these pieces. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, I got these 2 boxes. I got the headset with the long cable, and then I got this cable, and then charge cable and charge cable, USB cable. I got this thing, whatever this thing. I got this box. And then I got these HDMI cable, USB thing. I got these 3 different power adapters. I'm like, all right, how do I set this up? And I was like, dude, I didn't know if there was wires between the bases, or I didn't know if the controllers were going to be charged or anything. So I started just trying to set it up. I was like, okay, well, I hooked everything up. I put the wall mounts up on the wall and put the boxes up there, and they just plug into a wall. They have a cable that you can plug them together if you have problems with them interfering. There's this huge, really long, 1/8-inch looking cable. It looks kind of like an audio cable, but it's really long. Yeah. But it's not. You don't need it. Otherwise, it communicates wirelessly and it's through whatever magic.
Don't you know, Daniel?
I cannot say that I understand all the technology involved. I know that because I put one box in one corner, I put another box in the other corner, I plugged them to the wall, and they started talking. and they're
literally
somehow
talking. They're like
well, they hum a little bit actually.
Like a Furby on the wall.
They hum a little bit, and then there's a bunch of lights on the front. It's got little letter displays on it, and then it's got a little LED that tells you, the colors tell you if they're connecting right or whatever. But I don't know what they're talking to. I don't know if they're talking to the little box that the headset runs into. I don't know if they're talking to the headset. I don't know where it's communicating. I don't know how it's getting from the boxes to my computer.
The way it works, Daniel, I've done some research on this.
Oh, yeah.
The way it works is it sends signals through a alternate dimension that's known as the demon world. And the demon world,
or as
where humans do not go,
as HTC calls it, the Viveverse.
The Viveverse. It's the more user-friendly name.
PC term.
But it's really the Demonverse. And it creates this loud racket in the demon verse, and it transmits noise through it, and then the other one connects to that demon verse. All the devices, the headset, the box you plug it into, and the other boxes, everything connects to it. It's all gone through that. It's super fast, but there is a small chance of a demon uprising every time you turn it on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be aware.
But they haven't figured out how to cross over, so everything's fine.
They're just pushing at the seams.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know what's communicating to what, because then I have the controllers, which are also talking to somehow talking to my computer. And then the only thing that's plugged in is the headset. So I got this long cable that runs across the floor.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. But I plugged it all in. At first, I had trouble with it getting it to talk. Like, I could see them get them to connect, but they wouldn't, like, they would be flashing, like, oh, I repaired, but it wouldn't, like, I couldn't get it to work. So until I plugged in the controllers, hardlined them into a USB cable, then it registered, and then it started working, and I haven't had to mess with it since.
Okay. It had to sync up.
Yeah, it had to sync up or something, and then suddenly it was working. And so, it pretty quickly, I had it up and running. And
how long is pretty quickly? What time? You started at what time, and you had it ready by another time?
I probably started at like 5:45-ish, and I probably had it up by 6:45.
Oh,
really?
Actually,
that's not quite right. I think it was an hour and a half because I had to download a bit of software.
Okay.
That was the only thing that slowed me down. If I would have had it up and running in less than an hour, except for the download to, like, I had to get the Vive VR app downloaded, which I didn't think about needing, and so I had to get it installed.
You didn't prep that.
No, I didn't prep that. I didn't think about it, and I don't know if I could without just plugging the thing in and you're going, oh, you have this, let me install that. And then I'd already preloaded a bunch of stuff, and then as I was playing some of it, I started loading up more. The two I bought were the Job Simulator and Rick and Morty Virtual Rick-ality.
Yeah. Okay, now here's the trick here.
Okay.
I want you to tell me about your experience, but I want you to tell me nothing about the games. Because I want to play these games, and I know nothing about Job Simulator, and I know very little about Rick and Morty's game other than what I saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
Both look great. I haven't even seen a trailer for Job Simulator. I just want to play it.
Okay.
And I heard it's a lot of fun, so I want you to tell me about it without telling me about it.
I really enjoyed it. They're really fun. I think Rick and Morty is better. It's made by the same people, actually. I forget the name of the company.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the same company made both. I think Rick and Morty is better. I think some of the
Which
interactive...
is their second one. It's not they did the Job Simulator
Yeah,
first,
the Job
right?
Simulator was one of their earlier ones. It came out last year at some point. It was one of the first things out with the Vive. They're both really fun. I think if... they're both really good, and the way you interact with them is really funny. It's really fun how they kind of poke at how you're playing this game. Like Job Simulator sets you up in different jobs, and you go about doing these things in really basic
You've
ways.
told me too much. I didn't know it was involving jobs. Go on.
And it's really fun. I really liked it, but there's 4 different jobs in it, and I've done all but one of them.
Oh, okay.
And, I've done all of 2 of them and most of one of them, and then I haven't done the 4th one. But and it's pretty fun. It's got a kind of a sense of humor about it. And then same with Rick and Morty. It's really, if you like Rick and Morty, you'll love this game. It feels like an episode of Rick and Morty in a lot of ways.
Really?
It's really
That's
good.
Cool. I really enjoyed it.
I've played through the whole thing, and like there's a lot of cool interactions. There's a lot of really cool things that it does, and like the way it handles the space you're in, because I'm in a fairly small space. It's room scale, but it's like the minimum I can do to do room scale. And so the way they handle those spaces is pretty cool. I think I think some of the Job Simulator ones handle it better, but the Rick and Morty one's amazing. The way they do it is really cool, and it's really clever. Also, there's some really cool... there's some characters that make appearances, and the way they do it is really cool. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah,
but
I don't want you to spoil anything either.
Yeah,
we'll do a whole episode spoiling stuff.
Yeah,
because some people may never get a chance to play these games if they don't have a VR system. So I feel after I've played them, we can talk about them.
Well, I'll just say that the Meeseeks is in the game.
Yeah,
and it's pretty amazing.
The blue dudes.
Yeah. It's the way they integrate them in the game is really cool. And
I need to go back and rewatch Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
that's a good show.
I rewatched it recently, like a couple of weeks ago. I was gonna talk about it, but you wouldn't let me.
Because we're not a show.
But we could just talk about it and pretend like we're a show. Rick and Morty is amazing. I'm just gonna say it.
Rick and Morty is really good.
It's amazing.
It's a great show.
And this game feels like an episode of Rick and Morty, and it's fantastic.
Nice.
Cool. It's probably one of my favorite things I've played on the Vive. It's my favorite so far. I messed around with Google Earth. It was a really good one. I got Mom and Dad to try it out, and our Uncle Mark. I brought them all in and put it on them and gave them a go. So I stuck with Google Earth.
This on. Don't ask questions.
I just had them play around in Google Earth just to keep it simple and not throw too much at them because they don't really play games that much. So I didn't want to overwhelm them with.
Our dad couldn't play anything with 3D.
Yeah.
Like he would get motion sick, like on a TV, he would get motion sick playing it, and which is really disappointing because we would always try to get him he's a fan of NASCAR, and we'd try to get him a NASCAR game at one point, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah,
he would just get motion sick, and that was really really sad.
It's
like he would want to, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was a little concerned because he gets motion sick easily that this would bother him, but I don't know, he spent like 15, 20 minutes. It didn't seem to affect him. He got the hang of the controls for once. I kind of got him to. He had trouble figuring out where his thumbs were, basically. But
he has that problem in real life too, so he has to look at them.
And so, I kept telling him, okay, you got to pull the trigger to grab things and pull it, and because you can take the earth and turn it, and you can grab the sky and change the time of day and stuff, and you pull yourself along it in a lot of ways. And I said, so you just got to pull it, and I kept telling him, and I had to literally grab his hand. He was like, see, feel this button right here. That's where the trigger is. That's what I'm talking about. He's like, oh, that, okay. Well, I don't think he realized there was a button there.
And you have to realize he doesn't play any games.
Yeah, exactly.
He never, he doesn't know the trigger on the controller.
But he uses guns. He knows the term.
Yeah, but that's different. That's not the same.
That's the whole reason they call it a trigger.
I mean, you're not supposed in gun terms. You're not supposed to keep your finger on the trigger.
Well, yeah, for safety reasons.
Unless you're intending
and when
kill.
You're using a Vive controller, you shouldn't either.
You should be. You
got to practice trigger safety when you're using your Vive. I'm just gonna say so.
That's true. Every time you pull the trigger, it kills a demon in the demon verse.
So, I mean, you gotta you gotta commit to it. If you're gonna do it, you shoot to kill.
You shoot to kill. So don't pussyfoot around it. just pull it.
I played Waltz of the Wizard some more. And
I don't know what that is.
It's the little Wizards Lab one. Have you not seen that one?
I don't think so. I
played it back when I got to demo the Vive a while back when we first got to experience it. And I played it, and I got to play it more and kind of explore all it had to offer. And I really like it. It's free. It's one of the free ones I have. And for a free little game, it's pretty fantastic. It's kind of what they. I forget who made it, but they basically were like, "This is the thing we would like to see people doing in the Vive," and they made a bunch of stuff, and it's really cool.
So they made kind of demos of what it could be done.
You're in a tower in a wizard's laboratory, and you have all these ingredients and a big pot, and you throw those ingredients in there, and it creates spells, and then you get this you can throw fireballs, or you can draw things in this 3D space, and it creates these objects. Or, like, you can get telekinetic powers, or you can make yourself giant. There's all kinds of really cool stuff. And plus, there's also, like, a mechanic where you can play some music, and you have to find out these note patterns that'll teleport you, open a rift, and you can teleport to these other scenarios. That are kind of real simple, but they kind of play with the space and play with some concepts. So if you have a VR, if you have a Vive, I definitely get Waltz of the Wizard. It's really fun. It's got some really cool stuff in there, and it's free.
Yeah, nice. Since you spent $800 on a Vive, I hope there's some free stuff for it because you're going to be broke.
The only thing I bought was the Job Simulator and Rick and Morty. I also bought...
How much are those?
$30 each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You think it's worth the $30? In terms of time value.
I think the Rick and Morty one is... I don't know. As far as time, I don't know. I mean, I think it took me an hour or so to get through the whole thing. Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. I probably played 2 or 3 hours out of it. But I think it was 3 hours when I looked at the counter. Job Simulator... I'm kind of on the fence about. I like it, but I'm kind of wondering if it was worth the $30. But it's fun. It's amusing, and it's one of the things that, like, I spent $30. I don't know how much replayability I can get out of it. But I played Rick and Morty a bunch, and it's worth the $30. I think, just especially if you like Rick and Morty and you like that kind of stuff, and it has this cool little story to it, and it's got all kinds of fun stuff going on. So I think it's worth it. Job Simulator, I'm kind of on the fence about, but
that's one thing it'll be interesting to see because normally we kind of weigh how much we would want to spend on a game, but how many hours we spend on it.
Yeah.
VR being that. You probably don't want to spend a huge amount of hours playing it. I can't. I don't think you want to have like a whole day of doing nothing but VR.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, but I think it would get exhausting.
It can be exhausting.
So I assume the time amount isn't as big of an issue.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I think you have to weigh it more in the experience and how much enjoyment and amusement, the entertainment you got, and as well as how well it handles interactions. I like a big part of VR is in the interactivity and how they handle and how they deal with that stuff, and I think how successful. I think a big part of the enjoyment is how successful they dealt with it, and I think Rick and Morty does it really well. Job Simulator does too, but I think Rick and Morty, like, because it has kind of a theme and it sits within this little world that you're familiar with, I think it adds a whole new layer to it that's really fantastic.
And so. So did you play any other games on it?
I played the Lab, the free
Valve Labs.
Valve's free kind of experimental VR stuff. And I played through it. They had this little drone fighting thing. It's kind of like a 3-dimensional Space Invaders game where your controller turns into this little flying ship and you just move it around in space and you just you dodge beams and stuff and you shoot back at the ships and stuff, and that was pretty fun. But the best thing in there is the archery game.
Yeah, that one's really fun. I played it.
It's probably the best thing in there. I think it's hands down. I think my favorite thing in that whole thing, and it's free too. So you should check it out if you have access.
If you got some kind of
if you got the
VR,
Vive.
The Vive, or the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
If that's the direction you went.
Yeah. Max, who's a saint, he came over Friday.
Saint Mac.
And he played. I end up letting him just play. He spent like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours playing. And he got really into the archery game. He was going nuts on it, and he was doing really well. But I think he exhausted himself doing it.
Yeah.
But he was like, I could spend forever playing this. I'm like, and it's super fun. It's super addictive, and like I said, it's really easy to lose track of time.
I mean, when I did it, I felt like I had maybe spent like 30 minutes to an hour playing it, and I had been there for 2.5 hours. It's really easy to lose time.
Yeah, it's really easy. I know the first night I got it set up and I was just kind of playing around with stuff, I kind of took it off at one point and I looked and it was 11 o'clock, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta go to bed. And I've been messing with it for like 3.5 hours.
need to put a little clock in there so you know what time.
Well, you can hit when you hit the Steam menu button. There's a clock. You just don't think to look at it. And then Max did the same thing. He was playing for a while, and then suddenly he was just like, "What time is it?" And I'm like, "It's I don't know what 8, 9 o'clock or something." He was like, "I've been doing this for 3 hours," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, and but it's really fun. I played that movie The Belko Experiment.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like Battle Royale in The Office.
Yeah, it's the movie written by the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, James Gunn, the director and writer of Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote that movie.
Yeah, they have a VR game, a little free one.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of a marketing thing, but it's a little escape room.
That's cool.
It's pretty clever. I liked it. It was a little buggy for me, but it was pretty fun. You're in an office, and then you go into the Belko experiment, and it locks everything down, and you have to perform these tasks and solve these little puzzles. It took me maybe less than half an hour to go through it, but it was fun. Yeah. And then it was like, here's the trailer for the movie, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, and that one was pretty fun, and again, it's free, so there's tons of free stuff. I played one called Found. That overall, I was kind of whatever. It was just some really cool atmospheres. There was one part where you're kind of standing in this polygon plane with a bunch of plants and trees and rocks and stuff. There was a dragon flying around at one point. And anyway, it gets dark and it starts raining, and it's just real basic pixel rain stuff. But you have these orbs, and you can slow down time. So the rain just slows to falling really slow or falling really fast. And that was probably my favorite part. Everything else about it, I was like, oh, this is nice. This is a cool little atmosphere, cool little thing. But that part was really cool, and it made me kind of oh, that looks amazing. It looks so cool. I was mesmerized by it. And I already own Elite Dangerous, right? And I play it with I play it with my flight controls.
Fighting game thing.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. Basically EVE Online except first person, more or less. And so I knew it was VR, as it supported VR, and so I wanted to try it out. And the first time I started it up, and it was a little weird. Well, one, I didn't use my flight controls. I was just because I don't have a way to set them up right now. So I was like, well, I'll use a controller, but I didn't have. It supports an Xbox controller, but I don't have an Xbox controller. I have a Steam controller, and I have a PS4 controller, and I couldn't get either of them to work very well. Well, I got it to run with the PS4 one. It was like, it'll work, but it'll say Xbox controller. And then I couldn't figure out how to do anything. I was just sitting there floating in space. But what's weird about that game is when you play it in VR, normally you're just in first person in the ship, you're looking out the front of the ship. And then when you want to look at certain menus, you turn to your left or right to look at those menus.
Yeah.
Well, in the VR version, you turn and you can just look around, right? And you can look down and you have a body. And you have an arm.
Is it better than your real body?
Well, probably. And there's nowhere to go but up. And so, so it's weird.
I want a VR body that I'm overly, grotesquely obese. And just I want to be a 500-pound man.
I don't know if I have legs because all I see is stomach. I
can't see anything past my belly.
But yeah, so it's weird. You can see your arms, and at first I was like, "Well, this is really weird. It's an unusual choice," but it makes sense later once I've read because I can see my legs in front of me and my arms and I can see my whole body, and I can look around the ship and look at all the windows. And I'm like, "Okay, this is weird," but then I was just floating dead in space because none of the controls were working. So I was like, and then I went to bed. And I didn't mess with it, but yesterday I loaded it up, and I thought, you know what? I could use my flight controls. I could just. At first, I can just sit on the floor, and just because I'm sitting in the game, I'm not going to be moving around. It's just going to be, sitting. And so I was like, I can just sit on the floor, and I can set the controllers on the floor, and I can just try it, see how it feels, see if I can play without being able to see the controls. And then once I got in, I realized when I tilt the joystick direction, it moves in the game. The hand, one that's on my hand, my virtual hand on the throttle is moving on both of them. So if I throttle forward, the hand moves the throttle forward.
Nice.
So it's doing everything I'm doing. And I'm like,
nice.
whoa, that's weird. And it works.
Cool.
It works.
So I'm going to just paint the scene for you just a minute. So you're sitting on the floor with a mask on your face and your flight controls on the floor. No TV's on, nothing else.
Nothing.
It's just that.
It's just that.
So you could just be play acting and no one would know.
Yep, no one would have a clue.
Like, I'm flying a ship.
I got my wireless headset on. I'm just no one. You as far as I can tell, I'm just a little kid pretending to be a starship fighter on the floor.
Someone walks by and you're just like sitting on the floor.
So I tried it out and it works and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that.
I'm thinking about
awesome.
like I might be able to move over. I could just sit up and I need to find a way so I can have something to lean. I think I need to get like a beanbag or something I can lean up against so I can lean back so I don't kill my back. Or I might see if I can get it set up where I can just walk and kind of get propped up on my bed and set it next to me on my bed, and then I can play it that way. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
You don't really think about how you're not limited to looking one direction anymore.
Yeah.
You're not limited to, okay, I have to set up in front of my TV.
Yeah.
You can break away from that. You can set it up anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as your cable will reach back to your computer.
Yeah. I kind of ended up quitting because I was like, I couldn't remember how I mapped all the buttons. So I was like, I flew inside a station, and then I was trying to get over, I need a dock. And I was pushing these little joysticks that I set up for minor movements and stuff, and I could not, because I can't see it or whatever, I kept hitting them the wrong direction. Yeah. And I was just like slamming into stuff, trying to land. And then I was like, oh wait, I gotta put the the landing struts down, and I was flipping all these switches, and I couldn't find the right one. Finally found the right one, so I'm going to relearn my control
Your
mapping.
That's cool.
So I was working on that, but it felt pretty good. So I'm definitely gonna have to try it out some more. But it's really cool when you're like in it. You're in a ship. You're controlling it with flight control, and you can just turn and look up or look out the windows to the side. And then when you turn down and look down, the menu opens up where you're looking, and you do the controls like you do normally, except you just look over there instead of like normally you just hit a button to shift over your view to another menu. This you just look over there and it opens up for you, and you can sit there and navigate it. And it's so cool. Yeah. It's really cool. I want to play it some more.
The VR is so exciting.
It is exciting.
It's just the only downside is the price.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really where it gets
it's a steep
you.
price.
It's a steep entry fee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not only because
excitement.
Just the hardware for the Vive. I mean, it's $800, and then you got to have a computer that'll run it, which I already did. But that you're talking $800,000 just for the computer. So you're talking almost $2,000 just to get in.
Yeah.
It's great. I was playing around with some virtual desktop, called virtual desktop on Steam is the one I was messing with. I'm not sure. It cost me $15. I'm not sure it's earned its price yet, but I've been playing around with it. It basically takes your monitors and it makes a virtual version inside your screen, and you can adjust how they look and they curve. I wish I could move them around. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if there's a way to do it. I think you can. I realized there was another thing that I had that comes with the Vive that I just discovered because it downloaded, and I was like, oh, what's this? It's called Viveport, which is like a big open space, and you can kind of set up browser windows. You can go over here and have a video screen player over here, and you can set up different stuff, and you can actually get games through it and other interactive stuff, and it ties to Steam. And so I was playing around with it too, and it was kind of annoying me because I kept screwing up stuff. But I have so much to play with. It's ridiculous. It's a little overwhelming. I have to kind of sit down and go, okay, what do I feel like messing with right now? and then I also just go
all new.
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
So new.
And then I just all week I've been looking at. I have free time. I pull up Steam and I'm just looking at the VR stuff and mostly free stuff, so I can just kind of stuff I can try out, play with. There's a few more I want to buy. I'm gonna wait until another week or so.
There's the Batman Arkham game.
Yeah, it's $20.
VR. It's $20. I don't know how long it is.
Yeah. That's really I'm interested in it, but it's like it's just $20. I'm trying to decide is it worth $20
and that's on the list, but it's just like time and money.
Yeah, and then there's stuff on the horizon. Apparently, Bethesda's working on a Fallout 4 VR. I have no idea how it will work. If it'll be its own game in a way, or if it's somehow I don't know how you would make Fallout work in a VR, but I am excited to see what they do.
I mean, you can play like Skyrim in VR, right?
Well, yeah, you can play any using the virtual desktop.
You can play any first-person shooter. It's just using a controller, though.
Yeah,
like, you still use the regular controller. You just use it just ties all the looking around to your headset, right?
Yeah, in theory, yeah. I can use the virtual desktop to just run a lot of games, and then just do it that way. I'm still playing with it. I don't know what all the limits are. Also, but yeah, the big thing is when you start doing that. Is like when you start having a controller that controls your movement, that's where motion sickness comes in. Where when you're like looking around and then you're like you're not moving, but then you're moving, like what I mean. And then plus when you're playing room scale, you have a certain amount of space that like a 2.5 meter by 2.5 meters where you can actually move around, and so that's why a lot of them have like the teleporting box where you move that your room scale around the environment, and so you have that to your space. So you gotta be conscious. I can go this far, and then I gotta jump the whole box over, and then I can go that far again. So,
if I were doing it, I would just like sit down for Skyrim, and I would just have the VR headset, and I would just look around, like be in a turny chair, and just like turn and look around, but then use the controllers to walk, and do all that, everything else. I would think that would work very well. But you're right; it probably is. Motion sick.
It is a quick and it's an easy trip to motion sick, and I don't get motion sick easily at all. And
I've never been motion sick.
I have had a couple of moments where I got into mostly when I'm having some interference issues. I've been playing around with it. It happens every once in a while. I haven't quite figured out what's causing it. And I don't have the most ideal space for it, so it may be something causing interference in the room. But every once in a while when I turn a certain way, my controller will wander off. And then when it gets, like if I crouch down, I fixed it, I think, on the crouching. It would do it worse when I would crouch down. So I was like in the Rick and Morty game, I was opening a cabinet, and I was literally crouched down on my knees, hands and knees, looking into this cabinet thing, and the controller started twitching, and then my headset lost tracking.
Oh,
so the whole thing kind of jerked, and the room tilted a couple of times, and I was like,
close your eyes.
I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa! And if a weaker person would have vomited, but I went, whoa! And I just sat down. Because I was leaned over. I was like on my knees, leaning forward, and I was like, whoa! And I had to just stop and then just sit down. And I was like, okay, I'm all right. Because it was like a little bit of vertigo for a moment. I was just like, uh-oh, I'm falling, but I'm not falling. I know I'm not falling, but it feels like I'm falling. and it's just weird how your brain it has trouble telling the difference.
I had some weird things happen. I talked about it back when I played the Vive.
Yeah, where you jumped through the box.
I jumped somewhere, and I was like, whoa, that was weird. And stuff was happening weird, and then I was stuck outside the box. But there was a weird level of like, this is not supposed to happen. And your brain's saying, this can't work. It shouldn't be doing this.
Max broke the physics in Job Simulator.
Oh, yeah?
He had an object, and he, like, threw it down, and it bounced, and then it broke gravity. It just started floating up. And then it came floating back down, and he grabbed it, and he could pull it over, but then it was like he was in zero G. It's only for that one object. Everything else would still fall like normally, except for that thing. It was just floating around, and he was like, what just happened? He was like, I don't know. Something weird did happen, because I do find myself there, and I think I talked about this when I first got to try out the Vive. After you spend like a couple hours playing, and then you come out of it, I get this weird like existential dread of, am I still in the VR? Of like, this could be VR. I just kind of look around going, this isn't that different.
It brings to mind that the way you experience your reality is from your senses. And when you hijack those senses to do VR, it makes you question everything you see.
And when the VR is doing your motion tracking and you're moving around the space like you do in real life, and then you walk out and you're going, I feel like I'm moving through a VR space, when really the VR is mimicking reality, and it makes it weird. I did have a very bizarre experience. So Friday night, I was playing. It was late because I was staying up late playing, and it was a storm coming through, and the power went off.
Oh yeah,
it's like 10 o'clock or so at night, 9:30, 10 at night. The power goes off. Blackness. I'm just nothing but darkness. I'm like, what just happened? Because usually if it crashes, it goes to kind of a gray screen or goes to the load screen. And but no, it just went black. And I'm like, did the power go off? I'm just in darkness. So I took the headphones off and I took the headset off. Didn't change anything. Still complete darkness. And I was like, that was really weird. And I'm like, because the power went off and it was nighttime, so there was no light anywhere. And so
you didn't know if you had left the VR.
I couldn't tell if I was still in VR.
You should have took it a step further and tried to take off the next man.
Yeah, I needed to find the next one.
Then you would have left the Matrix.
Yeah.
You would have escaped on your
own. As far
as
I know, I might still be in VR.
Pill.
I might have spent all weekend in a VR reality. I just never left.
Yeah, you never came to Houston, Daniel. You never showed up. You told that story earlier. That didn't happen. You were not here. Me and Robert didn't.
We haven't seen you in days. We keep calling, but you don't answer.
I'm surprised you're in this Skype call right now.
What do I look like in the camera? Am I wearing a Vive headset?
You are wearing a Vive headset.
I can't take it off.
Take off the mask, Daniel. Take off the mask.
It's doubly terrible because a couple of the accounting game play with the idea of wearing a VR set, and then in the game you put on other VR sets. You put more on, and you go deeper and deeper into the game.
So to get some VR inception going.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Well, it's all very, very exciting, but it's not here, so I don't care. I really want to play it though, so I don't know when I'll get a chance to. Maybe I'll be able to, because I'm coming back to town because we're going on a little trip. Maybe when I come back we get back from the trip, I might be able to play for a little while before I
check it out.
Come back.
Yeah.
But yeah. Should we get into some news before we run out of time?
I had another game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
We talked about it last week. Dark Souls, the board game, came out.
Dark Souls, the board game.
And we attempted to play it. Attempted.
Tell me about your attempt.
I got there early to Gary's house, our buddy Gary, and it took me like an hour to set up. There's a lot of pieces.
Hour?
Well, and a lot of it was still in the plastic. I hadn't unboxed a lot of it, so I had to unbox it and get it all sorted out, dump it all out, and then get it kind of set up, and then figure it out where stuff needed to be punched out and all of that stuff. And like I said, there's a ton of pieces, and so we picked our mini boss because the way the game is, you lay out 4 room tiles with the Firelink tile. And then you explore these rooms, and you get basically an encounter card that tells you what bad guys are in it. And you fight those guys, and once you win the encounter, you get souls, and then you can go back, and then you can proceed into the other encounters. But as soon as one person dies, the encounter ends, you lose the encounter, and you go back to the Firelink Shrine, and you lose a counter. You only get so many Firelinks. And
okay.
Yeah, so we only have 2.
So it works just like the regular video game.
It's very
much
like...
You go and fight stuff, and you die, you reset.
Yeah, and so we did the first room, which was a level 1 encounter, which was really easy. We went through it, no problem. Then we went into the second room, which was you go through 4 rooms, and then you get to the mini-boss. And then once you beat the mini-boss, you reset the whole board, and you do the same thing, except you're trying to get to the fog door for the main boss.
The big boss.
The big boss. And so... Yeah, so it's like 2 stages, like going through 2 different areas. Yeah. And so we did the first encounter, had no problem. We did the second encounter, and it was a big sentinel, and it beat the crap out of us. It didn't. We won. We just burned up a ton of our resources, and we all almost died at least once. And so we all burned up our Estus flask. We used up our you get a lucky coin that lets you re-roll what dies. There's all kinds of stuff. We went through all our resources, and I was like, okay, guys, we have to rest. But they were like, no, we don't need to because we only have 2. We can't use them all. And I'm like, yeah, but we have to. We're gonna go into another room with the same level encounter, and we're not. There's no way we're gonna be able to do it. And they're like, no, we got some more equipment, and we're gonna do it. Wait. Fine.
Had they played Dark Souls?
None of them had played Dark Souls.
See, that was the problem.
I think they
got cocky, and they were like, "Oh, we got this," and you're like, "I played Dark Souls. I think they go back."
I think John was not familiar with Dark Souls at all. I think Josh has watched people play. I think Gary's played it a little bit. Yeah. But I'm the only one who's like deep in Dark Souls lore, and so we go into the third fight. And, of course, pretty quickly, one of us dies. And so and then by that point, it was 9:30. We're like, okay, we have to call it quits. I didn't expect to get through a whole game. I thought, okay, we'll get to the mini-boss. We didn't get it. We got halfway to the mini-boss.
So you're going to try to do it again, maybe?
Soon? Yeah, soon. I mean, because we're going out of town this next week, so I don't know if I'll play this week or not. But, well, I'll definitely... I may sit down because you can play one player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can just sit down and play like playing a Dark Souls game.
Because it's co-op.
Yeah, it's a co-op game.
The regular
game. Everyone's fighting together. It's all co-op. And
that's cool.
It's fun. It's a cool game. It's got a little complicated. It's got like a 38-page rule book. But a lot of that's like campaign stuff. There's like a campaign where you fight certain things in a certain order, and then you keep your experience as you progress into the bigger and more stuff. And so I have more stuff coming because of the Kickstarter, and so I have like tons of stuff.
Do you know when you're getting the new?
No idea.
Stuff?
It'll probably be a while, but. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's hard, though, which it should be. It's Dark Souls.
You haven't sent me any pictures of any of it.
I didn't?
Other than the box. You sent me the box.
Did I not send you the picture of the models?
Nope.
I'm sorry. I
thought
you
were going to.
I was going to.
Last week in the episode. You were going to. And then you didn't.
Oh.
I've been very disappointed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll send some here in a bit.
You care not at all.
I'm sorry. I had a lot going on, you know.
Yeah, you had the Vive guy. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's move on to some boring news.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time for it.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. So a few things. Minecraft came out on the Switch this week.
I saw that. I had to fight not to buy it.
Yeah,
I'm still really tempted to get it though.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, the last several times I played Minecraft, I got bored with vanilla Minecraft.
But you can take it with you. And there's a bunch of stuff since that. There's a bunch of little things.
You're not helping, Daniel. I wasn't
they've
going to
added
buy
a bunch
it.
of stuff since the last time we played. I know that much.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of little things that they added. I know, and I'm just like, how much is it? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I assume it's like $60.
I would guess $30.
Oh, okay. I hope it.
I would guess.
I don't know. I'm tempted.
Yeah, it is very tempting to get, and I've ignored it mostly because I'm like, I don't need another copy of Minecraft.
Yeah, it came out this week, and I was just like, I have the Vive. I don't need it. That's what I kept telling myself. I don't need it. I have the Vive. I got to get things for the Vive.
Well, I'm loading up the eShop right now just to see what the price. Oh yeah, $29.99.
Okay, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So it might maybe down the road.
Yeah.
But not
I may be loading up some new games on my Switch just because I'm going to be traveling a bunch pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I think I might be needing a few more things on it, but it's so hard because I want to get new things for the Vive and monies. No monies. Spent all monies.
Minecraft on Switch. If you have a Switch and you're a fan of Minecraft, go check that out. It's only $29.99.
I'm completely for a mobile version of Minecraft.
They already had that. It was on the iOS.
I didn't
play that.
No, that is not an acceptable format. No.
Moving on. So some Russians.
Okay, Russians.
Russians
influenced the American election.
No. The jury's still on that.
No, we know they did that. To what extent other people were involved is up the question.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have time to get into that. I don't have the research to back anything else I would say about that.
This is outside of my scope. Let's move on.
Exactly. That's basically. I was like, I would be fascinated to talk about this, but I haven't read enough to talk about it.
Okay.
So some Russians created about half of Terminator 2 using Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I saw. I was gonna watch this, and then I got distracted, and I forgot to check it out again. I completely forgot.
It's like an hour long.
Wow. Really?
It's an hour.
The movie's not that long.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like half the movie is not an hour.
It's 2 hours.
Is it a 2-hour movie?
I think so.
It's like an hour and a half movie.
Surely it's 2 hours.
It's like an hour 45 tops.
Whatever. But a big chunk of it they've created, and I skimmed through it and saw some highlights of it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah?
The only thing that's weird, apparently, that it's dubbed in Russian.
Oh, really?
Because it's Russians that did it.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, see, I told you. So this not even half. Half the movie was done. They did less than half. But it's like all the big stuff, a lot of the big scenes are in it, and I kind of skimmed through it, and I was like, I remember this.
Oh, remember this? I remember this.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. So
go check that out.
Yeah, if you like Terminator 2 and you like GTA
5,
go ahead.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
There's some talk with Mass Effect and BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about this?
No.
That they're putting Mass Effect on hold
shelving it for
now.
while.
They're shelving the franchise.
Yeah, because the last one didn't go over that well.
Yeah, it was kind of buggy apparently.
Yeah,
and it had weird
everyone I talked
animation.
about, I know several people who played it, and I was very tempted to get it, but because I liked Mass Effect. But everyone I talked to about it basically said the gameplay is okay, but it feels a little dated, like it's kind of old school the gameplay. And then the story just didn't hook them at all. Like they just the character interactions and stuff, they just didn't care. They said it was just really okay.
Yeah.
Everyone I talked to was just like, yeah, it's just okay. It's not bad. It's just nothing like really exciting about it. Nothing like to draw you in or anything. And I'm like, well, that's disappointing.
So BioWare Montreal, who apparently made the game, they're apparently scaling it down, like that studio.
Oh, that branch.
Yeah, that branch of BioWare is being scaled down. Some of the people from it are being moved to other branches.
Okay.
And they're shelving Mass Effect for the time being.
Huh.
So,
okay.
Probably until someone comes along and say, "Hey, I have a good idea for this game."
Yeah.
And that's usually what motivates a sequel.
Yeah.
Not just a cash grab.
Yeah, I wish they decided to do that before making this one. Because you look at like some like Call of Duty games or like games where they just crank a new one out every year, and I don't find any enthusiasm for any new one that comes out. Every once in a while something happens and it catches my interest, but overall I'm like, whatever.
A lot of people are talking about the Call of Duty World War II game that's coming.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything other than the title.
Yeah, and so that might be good, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like I have some buddies who play some of the new Call of Duties and the Black Ops and whatever the newest one is called. I forget what it's called, but they really like them.
Not new,
but not Black Ops, but you know what I mean. It's one of those, and one of the Call of Duty brands.
I want you to tell me, Dan.
One of the Call of Duty brands. I don't know which one. There's too many of them, but they talk about it. Apparently, they really enjoy it, and so I don't. Like I said, I like from what I've gathered, what I've heard them talk about it, it's the same thing they've been doing for a while. So there's nothing new there.
It's right up there with the like EA sports games. It's the same thing. They just put the new just put the new teams in it.
Or Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, or that too. I think I may have missed it. I didn't see it when I was looking through the news, but I thought I saw a rumor about Assassin's Creed, but maybe I'm wrong.
Probably. I'll
have to go
wrong.
back and find out, and I'll report next week, or I'll forget about it.
Yeah, probably. You'll probably forget about it. You've already forgotten about it.
I what? Forgot about what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, that's all. That's all I got. That's all the news. It's a boring week. I left it mostly open because I knew you would talk about the Vive.
Yeah. I've not even scratched the surface. I've been playing around with like just backgrounds in the little menu where the environment. I have one that the construct, in the Matrix, the big white room.
Oh yeah.
I have that one. I have a bunch of cityscapes. I found a couple of Fallout 4 ones that I thought, oh, this will be cool, but every single one of them, I'm not standing on the ground. I'm like floating above it, and I don't like that. The one I'm using right now is from the Illusionary Room, I think it's called. It's from Mass Effect 3. There's that, I forget his name. It's like the Illusionary Man or something like that, or I forget what he's called. He has a title, but and he has this big room where it looks like a big open space thing, and you see this big sun, and he's got a little chair there. And that's what my Vive menu looks like right now, because I haven't found anything I like better.
That's cool. I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't play Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone I've talked to about it was like, oh, do you play Mass Effect 3? No. Okay, well, I can't tell you what that is.
But you told me what it was, and I don't know what you're talking about.
When you come in, I will show you, and you'll see it.
Nope, I don't want to see that.
All right. Well,
shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Please go to our website at deafandumb.com. That's DEAFNDUMB.com. And you can subscribe to us there. You can find all our episodes there if you want to stream them. You can
find them on iTunes.
Yeah, you can find the link to iTunes, so you can subscribe there. Please review us.
I forgot to say, someone listened to us on Google Play.
What?
My coworker listened to it on Google Play. As far as I know, he's the only person who's ever done it. But I also realize that it doesn't show me numbers on Google Play if it's below a certain amount. So I have no idea.
So we may be getting some numbers, it just doesn't show us.
Yeah, it's just not a lot.
Okay.
It's just not enough to show.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, you like Google Play, that's cool. You do you.
You don't let people judge you.
Don't let people judge you for not using iTunes or some other, reasonable podcast acquisition software. We'll do a new episode every Monday, and please thank you for listening. I'm Dan May.
And I'm Dudley May, and Daniel has lost his train of thought. This has been Deaf and Dumb.
To the virtual realities. I don't need this
real stuff.